That one works, but there we go. All right. All right. So yeah, I've been planning on going through Higurashi at some point. So here we go. Figured why not, since, you know, October. Perfect time to start Higurashi. I've got the 7th mod for some better stuff, too. So, yeah. Alright. So, have all, I have it set so that it's all equivalent to PC, so no censorship at all. Yep. Aww. Start. Onikakushi. Deemed Away chapter. Welcome to the world of Higurashi when they cry. The Onikakushi arc will be the opening, inviting you into this world. Sit back, relax, and enjoy life in Hinamizawa to the fullest. The difficulty for this chapter is extremely high, but I hope you will enjoy the reward. What difficulty? It's just reading. All of Higurashi is just reading. That's all it takes. I'm not kidding. All of it is just reading. If I remember right. Yeah. All of it is just reading. It's kinetic. With very few exceptions. So, I mean, it's still a game, so doesn't matter. I mean, it's technically still a game. It's a visual novel. So, there are categories for it on YouTube and Twitch. So, you know. Let's go. Please do not deplore yourself. Even if the world does not forgive you, I will forgive you. Please do not deplore yourself. Even if you do not forgive the world, I will forgive you. So please tell me, what will it take for you to forgive me? Frederica Bruncastel. Orgal fiction. 1983, the yearly summer, the 58th year of the Showa era. If I was going to be ripped apart anyways, having my body ripped apart would have been far better. I trusted her. No, I still trust her. Even in this very moment, I trust her. But I'm starting to realize I only wanted to trust her because I refused to accept the truth. It was as if I was trying to convince myself in such a silly, sobbing voice. And those tears making a mess of my face. That mechanical, repetitious sound finally stilled and everything fell silent. Only the cry of the cicadas remained, annoyingly loud. And yet, I felt as if I could still hear her voice. But that's not possible. She's no longer speaking. The only one crying is me. She never cried. Even when she repeated those words over and over, she never expressed any emotion, because there were none to show. If she had tears to shed for me, then I shouldn't need to shed any for her. And why? This pain, my eyes getting moist. Why was this happening? I still wanted to believe I hadn't been split apart. That's enough, right? Inside me, an inner voice whispered gently. My spirit had suffered enough, and countless times I'd wavered over whether I should just throw the battered thing away. Except I've stubbornly refused to do that, haven't I? I'd feel better if I just threw it away. Even knowing that, I chose to believe, didn't I? Even I can understand that painful struggle, and appreciate it. Hey, me? I've tried more than enough. I'll acknowledge that much. So, isn't it alright to just take the easy way out? Besides, I'm not throwing it away. I'm leaving it behind, with her. Like flowers by a grave. Now then, calm your nerves. Even though you can't feel your right arm, just lift it up. With every swing, forget a little more. That kindness made me happy. That adorable smile brought me joy. I liked petting your head. I loved how demure you were. Because this will be the last time. Because when I swing this sound, I'll forget. This is my first and last bouquet for you. Perhaps I really did love you. Here we go again. It's fine. Do it again. Why not? Oh, this is the PS2 opening. Oh. That was the PS2 opening. Okay. Well then. Somebody has been apologizing for a while now. I wonder what she's apologizing for. It felt wrong to eavesdrop, so I tried to ignore it. It had been a while since I last went to the city. I only returned to attend the funeral of a relative. Even though I had lived there until last month, I found the bustle of the city to be overwhelming. Those skyscrapers and the multi-lane roads, the melodious cacophony of the crosswalk. Even the campaign speeches blaring in front of the station felt nostalgic. The place where I live now isn't nearly as lively. There's only the chirping of locusts and the babbling of brooks. And the cry of the Higurashi, the evening cicadas. Rather than making me feel lonely, the quietness had begun to instill a sense of serenity. There was nothing where I'm living now. I don't just mean there aren't any burger joints. There aren't even vending machines. No music stores, no restaurants, and no arcades. An ice cream parlor? No chance. The nearest town has some stuff like that, but it's an hour away by bike. But come to think of it, it wasn't really a big deal. There were music stores and arcades and ice cream parlors where I used to live, but it wasn't like I ever hung out at any of them. I had lived in the city for 10 years and never once been to an ice cream parlor. I should have gone at least once. It's only now that I'm starting to regret that a little. Somebody is still apologizing. Who is she apologizing to? She's apologized so much, so just forgive her already. There's no reason anyone should ever need to apologize so much. I started to feel a bit annoyed at whoever was refusing to forgive her. No matter how bad the mistake, there's nothing that can't be forgiven. There's no such thing as an irreparable mistake. You just need to be more careful next time. She's still apologizing even now. Then has she really done something that can't be fixed? I have no idea what she's done, but if it can't be fixed, then that's all the more reason to forgive her. No matter how much she apologizes, nothing will change. But even so, she keeps apologizing in such a heartbreaking voice. Hey you, the one she's apologizing to. Why don't you just go ahead and forgive her? She's apologizing in such a pathetic voice. Oh, I was finally aroused from my nap by my father's prodding. It seemed the train had reached its final stop. We'd spent hours riding everything from the bull train to the local routes. It was hard to believe that the landscape beyond the window in the city I was in half a day ago were in the same country. No, that they were even from the same era. From there, we had to take a car deeper into the mountains. Should I change it to... Hold on. Console backgrounds or original backgrounds? That is the question. What? Original background seems better, you know? Past further, the dense forest encroaching on the mountain road suddenly opened up. Nah. That one definitely looks better. There, where I live now. Hinamizawa. Yeah. Original background seems better. Fits more of the vibe. You know? Yeah, definitely. Ugh. Yep. No. No, it definitely looks better like this. If I were to do it with original backgrounds. Because that one definitely looks better with the... Because 16 by 9 looks better with the console backgrounds, but 4 by 3 looks better with the original backgrounds. Although... Though actually, you know... Again, if I did that, then did that... Okay. Right. Right. There we go, I guess. I mean, do I prefer this, or do I prefer that? You know what? This definitely looks better, yeah. Even though we were approaching summer, the morning air still had a frigid bite. Although, in exchange, you could fill your lungs up with crisp, clean air. Flipping open the window, I was greeted with a verdant expanse. Nothing but trees. The neighboring house was far away from on the other side, so I was probably the only one enjoying that view and that air. So I filled my lungs with another deep breath. Since I started living in Hinamizawa, I learned that even air had its own taste. I quickly finished getting ready for school and headed downstairs for breakfast. My mother was the only one there. My father was nowhere to be seen. He was probably up working until the early morning. Dad had a rather unconventional job as a painter. It's such a laid-back profession. Get up when you want, sleep when you want, and work when you want. I was so jealous of that easygoing lifestyle. I even wrote for school that I wanted to be a painter when I grew up. Dad was ecstatic about that. It was just because it looked easy. I'd never tell him that though. Mom laid breakfast out on the table. Seaweed, pickled vegetables, raw egg, and grilled salmon. My mom was such a good cook, it was scary. A perfect, immaculate, ideal breakfast. Unlike my dad, who didn't even know the meaning of the word schedule, my mom never squandered any time or effort. She hummed a little tune as she brought over the miso soup. It seemed like she was in a good mood today.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が早起きになって嬉しいわね。
早起きしないと朝飯を食いそびれるんだよ。
Oh, screwed it up. Okay. I thought I was being cute. Responding with a wisecrack after being praised for being good.
ご飯はいっぱい？それとも半分くらいでいい？
山盛り。
First, I savored the steaming hot rice with the seaweed. After that, I covered it with the egg. Between bites of rice, I enjoyed the crunch of the pickles. Not bad at all. Excellent as well, as usual. Watching me clean my plate, Mom gave me a warm smile.
こっちに引っ越してきてから圭一が朝食を欠かさないんで嬉しいわね。
I was not a morning person when we lived in the city. I slept right until the last minute before school and rarely ate breakfast. Boycotting the breakfast Mom made me each morning. That was probably the only way I could protest being forced to attend craft school. I guess that was what you'd call my rebellious phase. I wouldn't so much as look at the breakfast she woke up early every day to make. If I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. Mindful of the time, Mom rushed me along with her wide grin.
そろそろレナちゃんと待ち合わせの時間じゃない？急いで急いで。
Mom really seemed to enjoy the fact that her son was going to school with a girl. Rena is one of my classmates. She really loves looking after people coming to meet me every day without fail. Anyway, I looked at it. A guy my age walking to school with a girl was just lame. What the fuck? But, well, keeping a classmate waiting for me every day wouldn't be very considerate. Seriously though, how long does Rena wait there for me every morning? Taking one last gulp of miso soup, I raced for the door.
レナちゃんにお漬物ありがとうって伝えてね。
Come to think of it, those pickles weren't store-bought, were they? If I'd known that, I would have savored them a bit more. Okay, now. Which one would be better? This one? Or this one? And lip sync is... Her cheerful greeting was as fresh as the morning itself.
相変わらず早いな。たまにはのんびり朝寝坊したっていいんだぜ。
お寝坊したら圭一君を待たせちゃうじゃない。
Oh. He's so conscientious and such a good
その
person.
時は置いてく。
圭一君冷たい。いつも待っててあげてるのに。
サクサク置いてく、キリキリ置いてく。
どうして冷たいんだろう。
Rena had a slightly troubled look on her face, showing whether it was rather fun because of how quickly her mood changed.
嘘、ちゃんと待ってるよ。
With those words, Rena seemed to relax. Her face flushed bright red.
ありがとう。
レナが来るまでずーっと待ってる。いつまでも。
Rena turned bright red, steam rising from her head as her brain short-circuited. She's especially weak to this sort of talk. It's quite rare to find someone this fun to tease.
レナはロマンスものの文庫本は読んだことあるか？
ないよ。読んだことない。
In that response, I gathered she was interested in them, but was too embarrassed to actually buy one. I couldn't imagine what would happen if she did read one. She'd probably turn red and pass
そう
out.
そう。お袋から伝言。漬物サンキューでしたって。
どういたしまして。どうだった？しょっぱくなかったかな？
They weren't that salty. Actually, they had a pretty light flavor to them. Would have been fine to just be honest and say they were good, but apparently I couldn't be that forthright.
その前に聞きたい。あの漬物を漬けたのはレナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで聞くんだろう。しょっぱかった？
Her attitude completely changed as she began to panic
レ
frantically.
ナか？レナのお母さんか？
なんで作った人聞くんだろう。
どっちが作ったかで感想が著しく変わる。
Huh? She counted frantically on her fingers, trying to remember the amount of salt she'd used to pickle them. It wasn't like I was trying to tease her, but I couldn't stop myself. Guys who take pleasure in this kind of thing are probably the worst. Guys like me. Rena nervously opened and closed her mouth over and over, trying to muster a response.
レナだけど。
うまかった。
Ha!
前回に続きなかなかだったぜ。飯との相性は最高だった。
Her face went bright red again. She was completely spacing out. It really was a lot of fun to tease her. I pray that Rena never gets taken advantage of by some lowlife. Keep at it, Rena. I'll train you until you handle it like the average person. Or so I decided for myself.
行こうぜ。ミオンを待たせるとあいつうるさいぞ。
Seeing as she'd just keep spacing out otherwise, I called Rena back to reality so we could make our way to school. This strange, easily flustered girl is Rena Ryuga. I've only known her for about a month, but I've come to realize it's not just her name that's strange. Going over to the next rendezvous point, we saw another person waiting for us. Noticing us, she waved.
お、来た来た。遅いよ二人とも。
How would I change the background? Is there a way to change the background style? No? Really? And so it's still like that. Okay. That's fine. Yep.
いつも遅いのはお前の方だろ。
In sharp contrast to the diligent Rena, this one marched to the beat of her own drum. She's Mion Sonozaki. For what it's worth, she's our senior and head of the
お
class.
はようレナ。 そしてケイちゃんお久しぶり。何年ぶりだっけ
2日しか休んでねえよ。
あ
そうだっけか前に会った時はあんなに可愛かったのにな。
Hold on, let's see. Thing for auto. Auto mode is A. Ewan's gaze started at my chest and dropped straight down, and focusing on the point between my legs. So she was saying that it was my crotch that was cuter back then. Before you ask, just to be clear, I've never actually tried to show it to her. Huh.
そうだよ、立派になったぞ。驚くぞ。
たくましくなっちゃった上にヒゲまで生やしちゃってさ。
毎朝元気全開で大変なんだ。今度見せてやるから挨拶してみろ。
はは
今度なんて言わないで今がいいな。
は
朝の新鮮な空気を吸わせてあげたら。
ha. I don't think I've ever heard talk so dirty you could smell it fouling up the morning air before. Ewan sure does act like an old man sometimes.
よし、わかった。大公開だ。
は
後悔するなよ。
ha. As my hand reached for my fly, Rena began to ramble in near panic. Ha.
ねえねえ、何の話？何の話だろう？何の
は
話だろう？
Red-faced and flustered, Rena tried to play dumb, but it was obvious she knew what we were talking about. Sheesh!
久しぶりの都会はさ。
Ewan switched gears, dropping the dirty talk and changing the topic to something more befitting the pleasant morning.
葬式で言っただけだぜ。慌ただしいだけだったよ。
でさ、探しといてくれた？頼んどいたやつ。
お前、人の話聞いてないだろ。俺は葬式で帰っただけだぜ。おもちゃ屋巡りをしてる余裕なんかなかったんだよ。
おもちゃ屋とホビーショップは全然違うよ。特に洋物、こっちじゃなかなか手に入らないからね。
みーちゃん、またゲームの話？
Ewan nodded proudly as Rena giggled.
そう、ケイちゃんに洋芸のカタログを持ってきてもらいたかったんだけどね。
Westport was short for Western Imported Games. Using that abbreviation did make it sound pretty geeky.
そんなのまた通販で取り寄せりゃいいじゃねえか。
ま、そうするかな。またプレイングの熱いゲームを入荷するからね。
今度は私にも分かりやすいゲームがいいな。
Mion is a board and card game enthusiast, and I hear she's collected quite a lot of different ones. According to Rena, Mion's room has kind of become a museum for domestic and foreign games.
俺にも分かりそうなゲームがあったらやらせてくれよ。
いいよ。ケイちゃんさえ良ければね。でもうちらのレベルは高いよ。
上等じゃねえか。俺だって遊び100番遅れを取るつもりはないぜ。
はあ。じゃあ今度はケイチ君も仲間に加わるのかな？
Bristling with joy from head to toe, Rena looked back and forth between me and Mion. Mion gave her an affirmative wink, and her expression perked up even further.
男の子ってきっと外で遊ぶ方が好きだと思ってたからダメかと思ってたよ。
Rena laughed happily. It was such a friendly conversation, you wouldn't think that I had moved here less than a month ago. I understood that they did all they could to make a transfer student like me feel at home. I have to try harder to fit in, so they won't feel like they have to try to make me feel welcome. I feel like if I acted a bit more open than I usually am, I should probably be about right for this place. Namizawa was a really small village. Not only was there only one school, but there was only one class. Oh, wrong thing. That class encompasses all different grades and ages. There are about 30 students at different levels, and they all study in the same class. I'm told that long ago there used to be a bigger school building and they had actual separate classes. However, it seems something happened that made it become a single class, and now it's stayed that way out of tradition. I was shocked at first, but humans adapt pretty quickly. I've already gotten quite used to it. The sound of children playing started right from the morning. With such a lively mood, it felt more like a kindergarten than a proper school. Not that that was a bad thing. Mion, who had been walking in front of us up until then, suddenly let me take the lead. Right in front of the classroom door. So I was meant to slide the door open and enter the room first. Heh. Too bad. I wasn't going to fall for that again.
ここで先頭を譲るとはな。お手並み拝見ってことかよ。
Ha! Mion chuckled with a haughty smirk on her face. Oh no.
どうしたの？
下がってろれな。危ねえぞ。やつだ。
じゃあ、さとこちゃんが？
Her name was Sasako Hojo. She was a disrespectful, impudent, bossy kid. The way she talks was annoying, but it would be immature to get worked up over just that. The real problem was this.
見え見えの罠だな。引き戸の上に挟んだ黒板消し。見え見えだぜ、サトコ。
A hearty laugh came from beyond the door.
お見事、ケイちゃん。こりゃ今回は勝負。
いや、相手はサトコだ。
Oh no.
これだけとは思えない。
After falling for such intricate traps since the day I transferred, I no longer let my guard down. Satoko liked to combine a variety of traps. Traps were simply there to bait you into the main one. Traps that relentlessly kept coming at you like a sadistic goldrook machine. The list goes on. As well as being clever, they almost never misfire. When you least expect it, she strikes. No escape, no time to relax.
見たところ黒板消しは普通。石とかは入れてないみたいだな。
Aww. I took a pretty heavy hit from a blackboard eraser loaded with rocks on my first day.
じゃあさ、ガラガラって開けて落としちゃえばいいんじゃないかな。
それだ。
That's what Sachiko was after. Making me focus my attention upward, so as I lifted my hand to the door, there were thumbtacks stuck to the sliding door handle with tape. A frightening trap. A potent and terrifying trap, concealed by using the blackboard eraser.
見事なコンボだ、サトコ。だが所詮はガキの浅知恵だったな。
Ha! Assured of my victory, I threw the door open and stepped into the room. And I felt something strange at my ankle. It was similar to the sensation of a jump rope catching on my leg. By the time I realized she had me, hook, line, and sinker. It was already too late. I began to fall in an almost picturesque manner. Rip. Instinctively reacting to Bion's shrill warning, I twisted my body in midair before I landed on the floor. Aw. Do I prefer this one? Or do I prefer this one? An inkstone, filled to the brim, was placed right where I would have landed. I shuddered, imagining the situation had I landed square on it.
あらこれはおはようございますケイキさん。朝から賑やかですわね。
Still sprawled in an awkward position, I was greeted by a mocking voice.
一段とスペシャルなトラップワークになったじゃないか、サトコ。
私何のことかわかりません もの。朝からついてませんわね。
てめえ。あ、いててててて。
It seemed that inadvertently sprained my back a little when I'd landed. Better than landing on that inkstone. A small hand gently rubbed my head.
ケイイチの痛いの飛んでいけです。
The small dainty hand continued to gently stroke my head.
腰とかはくじかなかったですか？こうして撫でていれば痛いのは消えてきますです。
I thought about asking how rubbing my head would help my back, but I didn't. And it's not so much about what you actually do, it's the thought that counts.
ありがとな。リカちゃんのおかげで痛みが引いてきたぜ。
わあ、リカちゃん、おはよう。レナにおはようございます。みんなにもおはようございますです。
Rika-chan greeted each of us with an adorable little bow. It was infectious. Rena, Mion, and I all bowed back.
リカちゃんはいい子だよな。それに比べてサトコは。
I glared over in her direction. Satoko was whistling while rather deliberately trying to avoid eye contact.
サトコはいい子でございますのことよ。
いい子はこんな凶悪な罠は仕掛けないぞ。
言いがかりでございますわ。
Huh.
何の証拠があって。
I picked up Satoko by the back of her collar. She looks like a misbehaved cat when I do this. A cat wouldn't be setting traps. She's much harder to deal with.
ごめんなさいって言ってみな。言わないなら。
I cocked my index finger on my thumb and letting it tremble as I brought it closer to Satoko's forehead.
暴力反対ですの。証拠もないのに。
言っとくが俺のデコピンはすごく痛い。ベニヤくらいなら割る。
やめて、寄らないでけだもの。
人様が聞いたら誤解するような言い方をするんじゃねえ。
Oh no. A small hand tugged on the back of my shirt.
ケイイチが2日間もお休みしたから寂しかったのです。
Rika-chan really is just so. How could I do anything more after being told that? I gently released my grip on Sadako, who at this point was on the verge of tears. She still had her eyes clamped shut as she braced herself for the forehead flick.
悔しくなんかないもん。泣いちゃダメです、サトコ。はいと、おーです。
Rika gently patted the head of her prankster friend. You would never guess those two are the same age. I think Satoko could learn a thing or a million from Rika-chan.
今度はもっとすごい罠を仕掛けなさいですよ。
Wait a minute. As she observed the scene, Rena's expression grew ecstatic as she began to swoon.
サトコちゃん泣いている。
Oh.
「持ち帰っちゃダメだからね」
Ah!
だってこんなに可愛いよ。
どんなに可愛くてもダメなの。
でもちょっとくらいならダメかな。
Rena kept a cutesy face even as outrageous ideas spewed from her mouth. According to Mion, Rena is ridiculously weak to cute things and always tries to take them home. Object or person.
物もまずいが誘拐はもっとまずいぞ。諦めろ。
じゃあ見てるだけだよ。それならいいよね。
Rena swooned over Satoko's crying form. If a girl ever goes missing in Hinamizawa, I'll be forced to turn Rena in to the authorities. Forgive me, Rena. I'll be sure to bring you care packages when they put you away.
先生来たよ。
Love it.
早く片付ける。さとこ、すずりあんたのでしょ。
Just from Mion's single statement, the entire mood of the room shifted back to normal. The ink stone was bad, but the thumbtacks stuck to the door handle were an even bigger problem. I pulled the tape off carefully, making sure not to skewer myself. Even though Sadako was the one who set it up, Aaron had to pick up after her. By the time the teacher entered the room, the bedlam from before had been neatly tidied up.
間に合ったね。起立。気をつけ。
Mion gave out the morning commands. It's difficult being the teacher for all these different grades in one classroom. She has to teach something different to each one, but naturally she ends up spending all her time with the younger kids. Rena and Mion, being in the highest grade in the class, end up mostly doing self-study. They even end up helping teach the younger kids, so it seems like they can never get to their own studies. They're actually way behind where my studies have progressed to. As a result, I'm pretty much taking over for the teacher and helping Rena and Mion with their studies.
ケイチ君はお勉強教えるのうまいね。わかりやすいよ。
Rena took a breather after finishing highlighting an important section.
教える端から自信がなくなるよ。自分の理解の浅さがわかるな。
人に教えるには3倍理解してなければならないって言うしね。ケイちゃんもうちらに教えながら同時に復習もできてるわけなんだよ。
She's right. In contrast, this person over here is quite laissez-faire about things. For one, isn't she supposed to be in a higher grade than me?
ミオンさ、一言じゃないぞ。真剣にやんないとまずいぜ。こんなレベルじゃ。
別に進学校を目指すわけでもないし。受験に必要なそこそこができてりゃ十分。
Her staunch defiance was really something else. This was a different type of relax than somebody who already knew what was going to be on the entrance exams.
みーちゃん、ケイチ君が頑張って教えてくれるんだからさ。私たちも頑張ろうよ。
レナは素直ないい子だな。先生がきっといい学校に進学させてやるからな。
ありがとう。
レナには特に教えてやるからな。二人きりでプライベートレッスンだぞ。
Huh?
プライベート
Huh? A puff of smoke shaped like a halo popped out of Rena's head. Exactly what kind of private lesson is she fantasizing about that's making her turn so red? I'd like to hear the play-by-play of that next time. While Mion was flipping through her vocabulary flashcards, she threw out a casual
都
question.
会じゃさ、こんなに勉強しなきゃいけないわけ？
この程度はできないと進学できないね。
進学できないから勉強するわけ？
まあ平たく言えばそうなるな。
Yes.
将来役に立たないのは承知で。
Yeah. He's not wrong. He's completely correct.
こっちじゃあさ、出席日数が足りてりゃみんな進学できるんだよ。
そうなのか？
study equals entrance exams. Having that basic law of the universe so easily overturned sent me into a state of shock.
そうかもね。試験で振り落とさなきゃならないほど人もいないし。誰でも進学できるならさ、そんなにガリガリとやることもないんじゃない？
まあそうだけど、でも一般常識程度にはできた方が。
You know, that's true.
おじさ
That's
んは
fair.
そんな無駄な勉強に時間をかけるよりさ、この思春期の貴重な時間をもっと有意義に過ごすために使うべきじゃないかなと考えるわけよ。
Was too profound of a statement to simply laugh off. But since it was me own, it probably didn't actually have that deep of a meaning. In place of a chime, the sound of the principal waving a handbell drifted through the classroom.
ケイちゃん、おしまいおしまい。さあ、楽しいランチタイム。
Ah! In a complete 180 from her unmotivated state, Mion gave the commands that signaled the end of the morning period.
ケイチくん、お昼にしよう。
It might have been making a very troubled face. Rena smiled brightly at me.
よっしゃ、飯にするか。
There seemed to be different cliques even within the classroom. Most of them were divided up by gender and age, but our group was different. Our ages were different and we had both boys and girls, but we weren't reserved around each other. This level of openness makes a transfer student like me pretty happy. Rena and Mion pushed their desks together so they were facing each other. At the same time, Sadako and Rika-chan were slowly lugging their desks over as well.
ケイチくん、早く早く。
Rena waved her chopsticks in an unrefined manner, trying to hurry me along. Unless everyone was together, they wouldn't even open their lunchboxes.
ケイチさんのお弁当はきっと貧乏くさくパンの耳に決まってますわ。
What the fuck? What the fuck?
そう、恥ずかしがらずにお見せなさいな。ほらほら。
Even though Sadako was hurling insults at me, she still wouldn't open the lid to her lunchbox until I was there. I pulled out my lunchbox swiftly and dragged my chair over to join the circle.
お待たせ。
では、ミー委員長の号令でいただきますです。
At first, this was kind of embarrassing, but I got used to it pretty fast. At this point, I probably wouldn't even open my own lunchbox if someone else was too slow. Our ages and genders may have all been different, but we were all friends.
いただきます。
The sound of our little 5-part chorus echoed beautifully throughout the classroom. Really though, I've gotten pretty used to this group made up of all girls. Of course, there were other boys in the class, but they were a lot younger, so they were scared to approach me. Oh, that's to be expected. Younger boys just see older boys as scary. If we compare that to girls, well, at least these girls aren't picky. We put all the side dishes in the middle where everybody was free to pick at them. I thought girls would mind sharing a meal with a guy, so I was a bit flustered joining in. However, Mia noticed that and teased me quite a bit. As fruit of my efforts, I can now reach over and take sides from anybody's lunch.
あらあら、ケイチさんのお弁当は今日は大奮発ではございませんこと。
あらあら、さとこさんのお弁当こそ大奮発ですこと。煮物がしっくていい感じですわ。
Buying into the fact that Satoko was starting, our chopsticks locked in across counters, stabbing into each other's lunch.
ビミ
お、里芋がいい感じだぞ。煮物は冷めててもうまいよな。
After seeing my happy face, Rika-chan's expression broke into a little smile.
夕べの夕食の煮物少し取っておきましたですよ。
By the way, Satoko and Rika-chan's lunches are always the same. Seems that Rika-chan makes it for both of them every day.
この煮物もリカちゃんが作ったのかい？こいつはお袋の味クラスだよな。
I was honestly impressed. The carrot rosettes weren't from a mold. They were done by hand with a knife. That's not easy to do.
リカちゃんって何気にそういうの得意なんだよな。
お裁縫とかお洗濯とかも上手なの。すごいよね。 下はいろいろとすごいんですのよ。
お前が威張ることじゃねえ。
僕よりレナの方がお料理は上手です。そのね。
It seemed that the topic of conversation switched to Rena when she wasn't expecting it, making her blush and trip over her words. Rena's lunch really was the star of the table. Not only did it look good, it tasted good. Everyone else pulled from Rena's lunchbox constantly.
これ前に評判良かったからいっぱい作ってみたの。美味しいかな？
かなり合格点。あ、ミオ、お前取りすぎだよ。
Knocking Mion's chopsticks aside, I reached out, trying to secure my own portion. Satoko and Reika-chan wished over at the same time and a struggle ensued. Everyone shoveled in mouthful after mouthful while praising it, and Rena's lunchbox was soon empty. It was kind of bad that no one thought to leave any for Rena. But Rena seemed rather satisfied as she looked on.
いかがかしら。レナさんもとてもお料理が上手ですことよ。ケイイチさんとは大違いですの。
Bruh.
だからお前が威張ることじゃねえだろ。
さとこだってケイちゃんと変わらないじゃんよ。あんたブロッコリーとカリフラワーの区別つくようになったわけ。
I can. It's easy. Satoko's face went pale.
おいおい、ブロッコリーとカリフラワーの違いなら俺だってわかるぜ。
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
It's really hard for her to lie.
ケイイチくん、どっちでも茹でてマヨネーズかけると美味しいじゃない。いじめちゃかわいそうだよ。みーちゃんも。
Rena hurriedly tried to follow up, but Mion laughed haughtily as she drew closer to Satoko.
まあまあ家庭科の授業ってことで。じゃあさとこ、これは？
Mion lifted up her chopsticks. Between them was a piece of green stuff wrapped in bacon.
でもそれアスパラ。
Shut. Mion made eye contact with me, and within 0.3 seconds, I had Rika-chan's mouth covered. Holding a piece of bacon-wrapped asparagus and giving her two choices. She's pretty terrible.
その黄色がカリフラワー、緑がカリフラ。
Oh no.
さあどっちだ？
多分黄色がブロッコリーで青がカリフラワー。でも緑は
本当にどっちか分かってる？降参した方が良くない？
I'd expect no less from the class representative. The oldest. The way she drives people into a corner just shows how much experience she has. This is just a hunch, but being brought into the Sonozaki household must be quite the ordeal.
わかりますもの。わかるもん。
じゃあ答えなよ。
わかるもん。わかるもん。
She finally broke down and started crying. When she acts like this, she actually starts to seem her age. Rena entered a state of euphoria as Sadako bawled her eyes out. Rena was in a state of bliss as she rubbed her cheek against Sadako's head and smothered her. Really, a very content face. One that wouldn't care if the world ended right then. It was that kind of smile.
レナ、ミオンさんがいじめるんですの。かいい。
Seems my inner fisherman needs either new batteries or new threshers.
大丈夫だよ。レナお姉ちゃんが悪い人たちはやっつけちゃうからね。
I'll be right back. Alright, there we go. I knew I had batteries somewhere. Oh! Was like a flash of lightning.
今一体何が
Oh! Both of Rena's fists shot out at supersonic speed, striking Miona and Mia squarely in our faces. Before we knew it, Miona and I were sprawled spread eagle on the floor, staring up at the ceiling with matching looks on our
ケイ
faces.
ちゃんは食らうの初めてだよね。
Huh.
今日のはまだ甘い方。
甘いってこれよりまだ上があるってのかよ
With that, Miona and I both slumped our heads back to the floor in unison. From now on, I'll be careful when I'm within striking distance of Rena.
ほらさとこちゃんやっつけちゃったよかわいいお持ち帰りしたい
Making sure Rena couldn't see it, Satoko stuck her tongue out at us. Down doll, using Rena like a puppet. Rika-chan massaged our bruises without saying a word. You wouldn't think this is a horror visual novel. Based on all this. But, no matter what the day had held, the last school bell always came too soon. Our shadows stretched off into the distance.
ねえケイチくん明日はさ何か予定とかあるかな
It was such a direct question from Rena, I inadvertently blushed. If it was for a date, then wouldn't you do it more subtly? Rena saw me lost for words and realized that I'd misunderstood and turned red as well.
違うのそういうのじゃなくて
Eh. So apparently that wasn't what she meant. But since it's always fun when Rena's in a panic, I went along with it a little.
なんだそういうのじゃないのかよ
Playing it up, I slumped my shoulders, feigning dejection.
ケイチくんなんでがっかりしてるんだろう太郎兄ちゃん
Unable to hold it in any longer, Mion slapped me on the back.
そっか、そういう攻め方はおじさん知らなかったわ。
Mion was rolling on the floor, clutching her stomach while Rena flailed around, completely bewildered. I couldn't help but start laughing as well, feeling just a bit guilty I ruffled Rena's hair.
嘘ごめん冗談悪かったよ
She really is a cute one.
冗談ってどこからだろうどこからだろう
Eh.
あ途中から
途中から
Ah.
ってことはケイちゃん、最初の真っ赤になったのは
あ
演技じゃないんだ。
それって
It was only a momentary lapse, but there was no way Mion would let such a delectable detail slip by her.
あいやその
Saying anything more was also a bad idea. In my bewildered state, I slipped further into an unfavorable position. And after that, Mion continued to tease me about it for a while.
で明日が暇だと何なんだよレナ
何の話だっけ
It had been so long that Rena had forgotten. That's how long Mion had teased me.
ケイちゃんさ、まだこのひなみ沢一人じゃ回れないでしょ？
Aww. That was true. I hate to say it, but if you blindfolded me and spun me around 3 times like we were playing pin the tail on the donkey, I wouldn't be able to tell up from down here.
そうだな。町へ行くのと学校へ行く以外はまだ自信ないな。
そうそう、それでね、明日ね、みーちゃんとレナでお散歩しながらケイチくんにひなみ沢を案内してあげようよってことになって。
It would be a godsend. Frankly, I was happy about the offer.
もちろん行くでしょ？
暇ならな。
女の子が誘ってんじゃん。
暇ならな。
どうせ暇なんでしょ？
True.
暇ならな。
I was being stubborn so as not to give a clear yes or no. Even though I thought it was godsend, I too much of a scamp to say so up front.
ケイチくん、暇じゃないのかな、この。
While Mion and I had our rather sour back and forth, Rena peeked over at me hesitantly. Figuring I'd been a bit too rough on her, I just gave in.
許せ、ごめん。暇だ。
よかった。
The trepidation disappeared from Rena's face as it blossomed into a smile.
おうおう。
Ha!
ミオンさんとレナさんじゃ随分と温度差がありますじゃん。
It seems Mion didn't care for how rude I was to her compared to how quickly I agreed with Rena. But her being annoyed was very interesting. So I pushed Rena forward, speeding up our pace to leave Mion behind.
行こうレナ。明日は二人っきりで出かけような。嫌味なミオンは置いてって。
ケイチくんがそれでいいなら。
案内しようって提案したのは私。シカトすんな前原圭一。
二人きりでピクニック嬉しいな。弁当は持ってくかレナ。
お弁当いるならレナ作っちゃおうかな。
レナもシカトすんな。二人がホテル街へ消えたって回覧す。
お。
じゃあレナ、今日は早く帰ってお弁当の準備するね。
レナもシカトすんな。二人がホテル街へ消えたって回覧す。
明日が楽しみ。じゃあね、ケイチくんにみーちゃん、さようなら。
Rena batted off like she was walking on the moon. After the dust settled, all that was left was me standing next to Mion, sprawled out on the ground. There was a welt on her
大
face.
丈夫か？ミオンとレナの立ち位置2メートル離れてたはずだぞ。
あんたが来て以来切れ味は増す一方。おじさん身が持たないわ。
Maybe it'd be easier if you stopped saying stuff that makes Rena want to hit you. Or else this will end up with being Mion's slapstick comedy hour. If that happened, the results might be fatal.
くじけるなよミオン。レナのジャブを見切れるのはお前しかいない。
私は膝じゃないかと思ってんだけどね。
Could it be that we were hanging around with an unrivaled martial arts master? Maybe someday we will see her debut in an extreme contact
レ
sport.
ナには負けられないぞ。ミオンも鍛えてリベンジだ。
ケイちゃんがしてよ。おじさんは応援してる。
Mion and I reaffirmed our determination to discover a way to counter Rena's infallible technique. Oh. Oh. Mixed grade.
レナってさ、俺と同い年だったよな。
うん、そうだよ。干支も同じだよね。
Hey now, would it be weird if we were the same age but not the same zodiac animal?
そんなことないよ。誕生日の違いがあれば年齢が同じでも干支が違うこともありえるって。
あれ、あ、そうか。
It's true.
ミオン、頭いいじゃないか。
ところでケイチ君は何月生まれなのかな。レナは7月なんだよ。
Rena smirked and puffed up with pride. Hey now, what's the meaning of this? She's not planning to be all high and mighty if her birthday is a wee bit sooner than mine, is she?
だが諦めろ。俺に誕生日で挑もうったって無駄なことだ。なんなら一月差ごとに100円の賭けをしてもいいぜ。
なんでだ
ろう。なんでだろう。
Rena panicked as it's only being challenged to a wager. Given how panicked she is, I'm certain she doesn't have much allowance left this month. It's just sending her into a panic about something as simple as a birthday is so fun I can't help myself.
ってことはケイちゃん、ひょっとして4月生まれ？
そういうこったな。残念だな、レナ。
April!
俺
Yo!
とっくにレナより年上なんだよ。
Yo! April! My birthday month! Yeah!
へえ、そうなんだ。じゃあみーちゃんと同い年なんだね。
まあほんの何ヶ月かはね。すぐにまた差を開いてあげるけどさ。
Mion snickered through her nose. Hey now, that's not something to get high and mighty about. As if I'm one to talk.
そういえばミオンって上級生なんだよな。
下級生の方が燃えるってんなら今日から下級生ってことでもいいけど。
みーちゃん、よくわかんないこと言ってる。
Huh? Just by seeing Rena's blushing face, you could tell she knew exactly what she meant by it, though.
で、サトコとリカちゃんが下級生とどころか学校が違うくらいの下級生だよな。
ケイチ君はちょっと好みの年齢が低すぎると思うな。
Huh? You're not making any sense to yourself, Rena. I'll just grab onto her head and scruffed up a bit.
前から思ってたんだけどさ、なんでこの学校ってクラスが学年混在なんだ？
教室の数が足りないからだよ。仕方ないじゃん。営林署の建物を間借りしてんだからさ。
When she says it like that, it makes sense. I've thought our school was strange for a while now. The schoolyard is gravel, there are rooms that aren't for classes, and there's some strange sort of construction machinery parked here.
なんで借りてるんだよ。本当の学校はどうしちゃったんだよ。
戦前からずーっと立ってたらしいからね。
The war?
老朽化でね。廃校ってわけよ。
Probably was the grand old schoolhouse.
まあそれで生徒が町の学校に通うことになったんだけどさ、遠いでしょ？
どこの学校だったの？
沖宮の駅前通りを抜けて病院に曲がって小児科の向かいに学校あるのわかる？
Huh?
遠いよ。
Oh. I couldn't tell where that was by the location, but I assumed it was pretty far from Rena's reaction.
まあそんなわけでさ、沖宮の学校に通いたくない連中はこうして営林署の建物を間借りした仮校舎に通ってるってわけさ。
ひなみ沢の子供の半分くらいかな。朝早くに自転車で通ってる子たちも結構いるよ。
まあこんなはちゃめちゃな学校に通ってたら進学校とかはちょっと無理だろうからね。
そんなことないよみーちゃん。ちゃんと頑張ればどこでだってお勉強はできるよ。
お、 そうだぞそうだぞ。レナとは意見が一致したな。
そうだねそうだね。頑張ろう。
せいぜい頑張ってくださいな。おじさんはささやかに応援しとりますわ。
俺たちがじゃないぞ、ミオンがだぞ。お前受験生だろ。こんな成績じゃお先真っ暗だぞ。
いいもんいいもん。路頭に迷ったら永久就職してケイちゃんに食わせてもらうから。
は
就職ってなんだろう
あ。は
なんだろう。
あ。は
こらそこ、うるさいですよ。
あ。
自習は静かに。
The teacher yelled at all three of us. It was completely our fault. Sadako thought and chortled haughtily. I stuck out my tongue at her in response. It is just as Mian says. This school has nothing to do with higher education, but it makes up for that by having lots of valuable things other schools don't. Don't have a uniform? It's only June, but sorry it's so hot. Could hear the Higurashi outside chirping, and at night there are mosquitoes. It might as well be summer already. My only salvation was that the mornings were still cool.
暑いでございますわね。
Sadako was flapping her skirt languidly. It's pretty unladylike there. Even if she was a little brat, she still was a girl.
ケイチさんはワイシャツ一枚で涼しそうですわね。羨ましいですわ。
俺から見りゃスカートのサトコの方が涼しそうだよ。この時期のズボンの股ぐらがどれだけ蒸すか、女のお前にはわかるま
What
い。
the fuck do you mean? Jeans don't... My legs don't get that sweaty, man. And I wear jeans all the time during work. When I work, so... yeah. Like, my legs are pretty much the only part of my body that I could just slap on jeans and call it a day for pretty much every part of the year. Whether it's hot, like 90 degrees hot, 100 degrees hot, heck, even 110 degrees hot, based on what I remember from years, well over 10 years ago, actually, as I think about it. And even when it was more like 10 degrees, even. Or even less than 10 degrees. My legs just don't need much. They do just fine. The rest of my body, though, the rest of my body definitely needs more than just one layer, you know? This girl has got imagining something indecent.
レナの夏服は涼しそうな色合いがいいよな。見てるこっちも涼しくなる。
ありがとう。本当に涼しいんだよ。私もレナさんみたいな涼しい夏服が良かったですわね。でもさとこちゃんの夏服ワンピースですっごい可愛いし、レナはさとこちゃんの夏服着てみたいな。これ結構蒸しますわよ。絶対にレナさんの方が涼しいですわ。でも可愛い服の方がきっと楽しいよ。はう。
I had a feeling that Rena and Satoko's base values were fundamentally different.
そういえば この学校って指定の制服とかないんだよな。
ないよ。ふさわしい服であれば私服でも大丈夫なんだよ。
There are quite a few students in regular clothes. There are a few wearing uniforms, but they were all the same design and rather plain.
他の連中が着てる制服は何なんだよ。みんなお揃いだよな。
あれは町の学校の制服なんですのよ。別に決まってるわけじゃないですけど、みんな着てますわね。
そこへ行くと、俺らの仲間はみんないろいろな制服を着てるよな。わざわざどこかから取り寄せたのか？
ええ、ミオンさんが調達してくださいますの。みーちゃんの親類で古着商をやってる人がいて、全国の学校の服を格安で仕入れてるんだって。
で、その親類に頼んで、いろいろ個性的な制服を取り寄せてもらってるわけか。
At Mion, she probably loves using her friends as dress-up dolls. It must be a strange second-hand clothing store. I get that it's a second-hand clothing store, but stocking clothes from schools all over the country? That's pretty strange for a second-hand clothing store. What's the point in stocking up clothes from faraway schools they know nothing about?
それはレナも思うよ。他にも体操服とかスクール水着のフルとかも扱ってるの。そういうののフルはちょっと嫌だよね。
あんまり儲かってなさそうな商売だな。きっと少しでも儲けさせるためにミオンが一肌脱いでやってるんだろうな。
Yeah, I can definitely understand that sentiment.
でもいつもミオンさんが自信満々に言いますのよ。今にきっと大ブレイクしてすごい商売になるって。
A second-hand clothing store that stocks school uniforms will be a big hit? I don't get it. Save at the game. Well, that was chapter 1. Holy shit. How many chapters are there in Onikakushi? How many chapters are there? 13. Or 16 rather, it seems. 15 days. Naruhodo. Okay. Continue! Let's go! I took it a little too easy on the morning of my day off. I was totally late. And to top it off, that pesky mom of mine pushing a return journey errand on me just as I'm trying to leave the house. Today was the day Rena and Mion were going to show me around to Hinamizawa. Oh! Legs. Rena and Mion were already waiting at the meeting place.
ケイちゃん遅いぞ。
悪い悪い。責めるのは夕べの面白かった特番に言ってくれ。
女の子との待ち合わせに遅刻して言い訳がそれってわけ？
みーちゃんだって今来たばかりなんだよ。
Rather her out.
夕べの密着24時間面白かったし。
She was just as guilty as me. Rena was carrying a pretty heavy-looking handbag. What is that? Mion answered my unspoken question with a wink. That's right. Rena really did make a picnic.
ケイちゃん、あの後レナ。 大張り切りだったらしいよ。
別に俺がけしかけたわけじゃないだろう。
そんな大変じゃなかったから気にしないでよね。
昨べから今朝まであのテンションらしいよ。責任取れんの？
わかった。俺も男だ。責任は取る。
責任ってなんだろう。
As we both turned around slowly to look at Rena, our gazes drifted downwards to the massive handbag she was carrying. It seemed logically feasible that it would be entirely filled with lunchboxes. Except this was Rena we were talking about here.
2キロくらいかな。
5 pounds?
レナね、荷物持つときよっこらしょって言ってた。5キロ。
10 pounds. Holy shit. But that's still very light, though. That 10 pounds is light.
それはオーバー。
If she was struggling, it would probably be more like 20 pounds, 25. Yeah, that sounds better for someone who, for school age, well, high school age. Then again, yeah, 25 pounds would probably be right. If she was struggling, because 10 pounds, really?
ケイチ君男の子だからきっといっぱい食べるだろうと思ってたくさんね。
Oh.
もう行こう。よっこらよっこ。
Just from the way she was lifting it up, I couldn't believe the only things in there were lunchboxes.
訂正。俺も5キロ。
手伝いはするけど全部食べるんだからね。レナを悲しませたら許さないよ。
The only thing I could do at that moment was exercise a bit to make myself hungrier. Having finished with the pleasantries, we began our leisurely stroll. A carefree walk bathed in the gentle morning sunlight. I couldn't have even imagined something so wholesome existed during my time in the city. These were the boonies, after all. No slovenly desk jockeys trudging to work on the weekends out here. It really was a nice place, peaceful and quiet. As sparsely populated as the village was, you could still run into people just by walking around.
あ、こんにちは。
こんにちは。あら、そちらは確か前原くんだったかしら。
Two companions exchanged greetings with everybody we ran across. All these passers-by even knew my name.
なんで俺ってこんなに有名人なんだ。
Word travels fast in a small village, my guy. We passed 3 people, and when all 3 of them knew me, I started to feel a bit paranoid.
悲しいかな。ひなみ沢は人が少ないからね。
Yeah, as I was saying.
つまりなんだ。知らない顔が歩いてれば、それは自動的に新しく引っ越してきた前原さんってことになるわけか。
It'd be pretty much.
そういうことになるね。
It was a process of elimination you could only pull off in a place like this. It was quite effective. From now on, I'd better make sure to maintain a good reputation. The day I'm discovered accidentally gawking at a dirty magazine in the bookstore, I can expect all the villagers labeling me as a lech by the next day. Hinamizawa is not to be trifled with. That's not the end of this nightmare.
もちろんわかるよ。最初に会ったのが牧野林店の竹蔵おじさん。趣味は盆栽と尺八なんだよ。
次が乾物屋の次男の大輔くん。趣味は狙撃で将来の夢は超 A 級スナイパーだとか。 人は入江診療所の看護師の美代さん。趣味は野鳥の観察と撮影だって。
すれ違った全員の名前までわかるのかよ。
I'm impressed.
プロフィールまで。
Seeing my surprise, Mion and Rena exchange looks and burst into laughter.
まあね。ここいらは都会みたいにご近所付き合いが希薄じゃないからね。
話に聞いてみよう。今ここにいる俺は誰だ？
前原圭一くん。意地悪なこと言うけど本当は優しいテレ屋さん。
転校してきてようやく3週間。趣味は昼寝。最近トランクス派に転向。
What?
したよね。
もういいもういい。
Holy crap.
トランクス。
それもいい。
Apparently there's absolutely nothing you can keep hidden here. Hinamizawa is not a place to be trifled with.
これじゃあさ、俺のための案内ってより俺のお披露目みたいだな。
そうだね。うちらさ、これだけ賑やかに練り歩いてたからね。みんな思うんじゃない？ケイちゃんもひなみ沢に馴染んでくれたんだって。
ひなみ沢は過疎だから村中みんなが新しい仲間を歓迎してくれてるの。
I thought about brushing it off with something to the effect of "You're kidding me," but I held back. Had I ever greeted someone who just moved into the city like this before? Thinking about that made me believe that what they said wasn't a joke at all. We passed another person. Of course, we were called out to again the same way.
あら、こんにちは。仲良しそうでいいわね。
藤島さんちのおばさんだよ。こんにちは。
あら、前原くん、両手に花でいいわね。どう？生活はもう慣れた？
Instead of regurgitating a prepared response like I would have in the city, I responded with an emphatic nod. The old woman chuckled, voicing her appreciation of how energetic I was.
グッド。
Oh. As I looked back over at Rena and Mion, they gave me a wink.
でね、そろそろお昼にしないかな。
Rena's brilliant smile was signaled as the approach of an event that both Mion and I were trying to forget. We both looked at each other. Oh, we're gonna have to eat?
俺も男だ。努力はする。だが量が多すぎる。
よし、ケイちゃん、ここはおじさんに任せなさい。
Oh, we're gonna have to eat? Mion has never seemed as reliable as she does right now. I expect no less from the class
レ
representative.
ナ、どうせ食べるならさ、見晴らしのいいところで食べない？
それいい。賛
Rena nodded her head happily in response to Mion's proposal. Pressing the top of a stone stairway, a shrine drawn straight out of my imagination appeared before us. It had worn down a bit through the years, but the fallen leaves had been swept up, giving it a tidy feeling.
ここはね、古出神社っていうの。多分見晴らしが一番いいところかな。
ここの場所、よく覚えといてね。もうすぐここでお祭りがあるんだから。
へえ、祭りにしちゃちょっと早いシーズンだよな。
綿流しは夏祭りじゃなくてね、
Huh.
昔は冬の終わりを喜ぶお祭りだったらしいよ。
I was embarrassed for assuming that festivals had to be held in the summer.
さて、弁当を広げてと。
Various colored lunchboxes were placed one after the other on top of the plastic sheet. It sure did smell delicious. It was Rena's home cooking. Went without saying that it would be delicious. But is it even possible to finish all this? Hey Mion, it'll take more than just a good view to get this all down, you know?
こんにちはです。
Hey! It was Rika-chan and Satoko. Why are they here? Leon grinned over at me. I see, this was her secret plan, the power of numbers. You have my thanks, Mion. Following up when all the pieces are in place is my specialty.
騒がしいから来てみれば、これは何ですの？
見りゃわかるだろ。これからランチタイムだ。ビュッフェスタイルだ。レラの手作り弁当に舌鼓だ。
そんなの見ればわかるでございますわ。どうして人様の庭でご座なんか広げてますの？
神社は公共の場所だぞ。勝手に独占するな。
圭一の言う通りですよ。みんなのお庭にしますです。
やっぱりリカちゃんはいい子だな。座りな、そこ。一緒に食べよう。
After opening up a spot for Rika-chan, I promptly turned my back on Satoko.
ちょっとお待ちなさいな。私はどこに座ればいいんですの？
お前に座る場所はないし、食べる分もない。
Oh!
大丈夫だよ。さとこちゃんの分もちゃんとあるから。
ない。さとこの分も俺がいただく。
そんなことは許せませんの。リカはい、お箸です。
Both Satoko and I leapt at the boxes, having it out with each other.
いやはや、ケイちゃん乗せるのうまいわ、ほんと。才能あるのかもしれない。はい、
お皿。みーちゃんも、リカちゃんも。
Rena whipped out pairs of chopsticks and paper plates.
僕たちも頑張らないとなくなってしまうです。
そうだね。よし、参戦と行くかな。
いっぱい食べてね。ちゃんとみんなの分あるから。
Rena said as she opened up a thermos. Just then I realized that this lunch was made under the assumption that 5 people would be eaten. It didn't change how much there was, but the implication behind it was different.
そのハンバーグは渡しませんわ。
いや、肘は反則だろう、さとこ。
襟首をつかむのも反則でございます。
It was a tough battle, logging with their full momentum and an elbow in the opening move. Satoko appeared to have the upper hand, but the difference in our proficiency with chopsticks proved to be fatal and gave me the upper hand.
最後のミートボール。
Oof.
校長さとこ、破れたり。
Satoko and I amiably began choking at the same time, falling backwards and spasming. Rika-chan patted me on the head to clear it, even though it was actually stuck in my throat. Seeing that made Rena blush and breathe heavily in excitement. It was almost like flowers were floating all around her. Mion advised Rena to refrain from saying anything that could get her locked up. This is how our meals usually go. I'd do anything in my power, just so things could stay like this. The intense battle calmed, and finally everyone reached a point where they could begin talking. Receiving tea from the thermos, I let out a small sigh.
日本語ってやつはさ、
どうしてこう味に対する賛辞が少ないんだろうな。
食事中の団らんって考えがそもそも近代に入ってからだからじゃない？
昔の人は無言で食事を済ませたそうだし、作る人もちょっぴり寂しかったろうね。きっと昔の人は食べるのに忙しくて味を褒める暇もなかったのですわ。
That's just you.
でもね、美味しいの一言だけでも嬉しいよ。苦労の甲斐があったかなって。
She blushed a little as she said that.
美味しいです。
This absolutely perfect timing. Rika-chan struck Rena directly with praise. She looked straight at her with an expression of bewitching innocence. After Rena uttered an unintelligible noise, a ring of smoke arose from her head with an audible poof.
リカちゃん、お持ち帰りじゃなくてありがとう。本当に美味しかったですよ。
Rena flushed red with excitement, embracing Rika-chan and rubbing her cheek against her so hard you could almost hear it.
リカちゃんには褒めてもらったお礼に、じゃあこれをサービスね。
2 apple rabbits. After sticking 2 spikes into them, she thrust them toward Rika-chan. After Rika-chan accepted them, the mood suddenly shifted in a bizarre way.
なんだよ、サトコ。その挑戦的な目は。
皆さんにはレナさんのリンゴを獲得できるだけの賛辞が用意できまして。
強気じゃんよ。ボキャ品のあんたにどんな賛辞が思いつくっての？
Oh.
ではご覧あそばせ。
After Satoko flashed me a defiant look, she changed the tone of her voice suddenly.
レナお姉ちゃんのお弁当、サトコも美味しかったよ。
Satoko looked up at her proudly while talking cutesy. What? How was that praise? It's not even persuasion by tears, that's persuasion by cuteness, isn't it? And it's a Rena limited special skill. She blushed and her head spun, waving around in circles. Don't fall for it, Rena! Of course, I was asking for the impossible. Rena glommed Satoko and began rubbing her cheek against her.
サトコちゃんもかわいいよ。お持ち帰り。
Switch. Satoko was also presented with apple rabbits. After stuffing them into her mouth, she looked over at Mion and me again with that defiant gaze. It took only 5 seconds to take down Rena. That's unfair. To think she had such a trick.
悔しければレナさんにご褒美がもらえるような賛辞をお考え遊ばせ。
Damn it! That was a dirty trick. First of all, that wasn't even praise.
サトコ、それで勝てたつもりとはね。
あ
あんたらの底の浅い技とはわけが違うものを見せてあげようじゃない？
それは頼もしいぜ、ミオ。それはどんな技なんだ？
やるのはケイちゃん。
はほ
は
見せてもらおうではございませんか。豊島のあがきを。
The plan of attack she suggested was wicked, but it was the only thing that we had to beat Satoko. After sipping my tea, I started talking very naturally and calmly. Perfectly.
本当に美味しいよな。これってさ、全部手作りなのかい？
ほ
実はね、これほとんど冷凍物なの。
じゃあ、レナの手作りのってどれだい？
その恥ずかしいな。教えなきゃダメ？どうしても？
From the synergy of Boy plus handmaid. Huh. Plus handmaid at lunchbox. Her expression has melted into euphoria.
これでしょ。
Rena turned an even deeper shade of red. The words "I can't believe it" is practically written on her face.
なんでわかるかなかなレナの手作り
Of course, Mion had told me beforehand. It's been perfect so far. After acting like I was shy, I waited a beat. The next would be the finisher.
レナの匂いがしたから。
What did he mean by that? Silence enveloped the area. Rena, face still completely red, froze solid. With a small yelp, Satoko also blushed. Of course I did too.
レナの手作りのリンゴのウサギさんが食べたいな、なんて。
Even if this was all because I was competing against Satoko, it felt like I had crossed the line by a good 9 yards, I think. Then, at that moment, was a Tupperware container filled with rabbits. Holy! Oh!
食べてねケイチ君いっぱいあるんだよ
Instantly, dozens of the apples were shoved into my mouth, knocking me over.
はいしてケイチ君
My head was forcibly laid upon her lap, and even more apples were shoved into my mouth. Oh, she was squealing. One apple after another was forced into my mouth. More and more apples.
ケイちゃん殉職見事なり。どうよサトコ、うちらの完全勝利だね。
こんな手信じられないですの悔しくないもん
Asatoko ground her teeth, mortified. We did it. I claimed victory as my consciousness drifted slowly away from me. At that time, Rena stopped her schooling as she suddenly realized
リ
something.
カちゃん食べないの
あ
塩水強すぎたかなこの
Looking over, Rika-chan had pulled the toothpick out of the apple rabbit, placed it on to her cupped hands, and seemed to be at a loss for what to do.
うさぎさんがかわいそうです助けてあげてほしいです
What the fuck? Blood. That was the sound of blood spurting from Rena's nose. Oh.
かいよ今夜こそ絶対本持ち帰り
She shook sporadically, her head wobbling back and forth. Then, coming back to her senses, she took all the apples around me, gathered them up, and fixed them back up on a plate.
これでみんな寂しくないよねこれリカちゃんにあげるね
What? Rika-chan raised up Sadako's hand like a referee after having that plate of rabbit shoved to her. She whispered.
僕たちが勝ちましたです
What? 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 What?
逆転負け
Thus, my sacrifice ended up being in vain. It was a fun-filled, crazy day. But as soon as the sun began to set, the end of the day really did come quickly.
じゃあねレナにケイちゃんまた明日ね。
ミオ、今日はありがとな。楽しかったぜ。
また明日ね
Satoko and Rika-chan went home as well. We parted ways with Mion, and it ended up and with just Rena and myself enjoying the evening air on our way home.
ケイチくんも今日は付き合ってくれてありがとう。楽しかった？
ああ、楽しかった。まだ家に帰るのが惜しいくらいだぜ。
じゃあさ、ちょっとだけ寄り道してもいいかな？
寄り道？
はあ。
遠いのか？
ちょっと歩くけどすぐ済むから。
Since we had been walking around all day, I must have seemed a bit tired. Not feeling like teasing Rena, I quietly nodded. Traversing a small path and up a small hill, the land suddenly stretched out before us. Oh. There, what looked like the remains of a dilapidated construction site came into view. Oh. A large heap of garbage spread out off towards the swamp. Probably illegal dumping. I recalled it being in the newspaper.
今日は久しぶりだから何かあるかな？何かあるかな？
Again, the lighting fits the console backgrounds. I think I'll go with this instead then. I spent 2 hours with the original, but whatever.
久しぶりってレナのようはあのゴミの山かよ。
ゴミじゃないよ。レナにとっては宝の山だもん。
Rena had already entered that well-known cute mode of hers. So, I mean, that meant there was something cute here?
わあ、新しい山だ。ワクワク、ワクワク。
Oh. She descended the unstable slope with ease. I'd expect no less from a born and bred country girl.
おい待てよ、今行くから。あったたたた。
My city-raised self was completely pitiful.
いいよ、ケイチ君はそこにいて、すぐ済むから。
Rena kindly declined my accompaniment.
転ぶなよ。足元に気をつけろよ。
大丈夫だよ、大丈夫。全然平気。
Literally bounding among the heaps of trash, Rena disappeared from sight. I didn't like being left behind, but I was still pretty tired from the whole day, so I just ended up waiting. Without the lively Rena around, the surrounding area quickly fell into silence. The cry of the Higurashi gently cooled the air. Fairly exhausted, I began to feel a little sleepy. Just then, the sudden noise of scattering pebbles alerted me to somebody's presence. Startled, I turned around. Oh. Standing there was the typical-looking photographer. He spied over at me through his camera. His body was tanned and fit, but something about him seemed unreliable. He had a bit of an aloof air about him. Well, it didn't seem like he was a bad guy in any case. Although startled when I turned around, he overplayed his reaction. That was my line.
驚いたのはこっちですよ。
ごめんごめん。驚かすつもりはなかったんだ。君はひなみ沢の人かい？
I gathered that he wasn't from that question. Unfazed by my suspicious gaze, he introduced himself without my prompting.
僕は富武、フリーのカメラマンさ。ひなみ沢にはたまに来るんだ。
I didn't ask you who you were.
写真ってのは被写体に断ってから撮るのが礼儀なんじゃないんすかね。
I completely agree.
ごめんごめん。
Especially, in this case.
メインは野鳥の撮影でね。断った試しがないんだよ。
So what? You're saying I was the same as the birds?
いやいや、夕闇に黄昏る少年があまりにも絵になっていたんでね。本人の許可を取らずにファインダーを覗いたことを謝る。
Adults are pretty slick. All that annoyance I felt for being startled just flew away as he buttered me up. I had no intention of hanging around with this guy trying to get cozy with me, except it didn't seem like Rena would be back soon. But this older guy, Tomitake-san, he didn't mind my cautious responses and continued rambling on by himself. Rena puffed her head out from one of the lower piles of garbage and waved her hand.
それがいたのかい？お、彼女はあんなところで何をしているんだい？
That's what I wanted to know.
さあね、昔殺して埋めたバラバラ死体でも確認してるんじゃないですか？
Tomitake looked shaken up by that for a moment. Oh, I should respond like I would if I were talking with Rena and the others.
嫌な事件だったね。腕が一本まだ見つかってないんだろ？
Oh no. Exposition. Wait, what the fuck?
ケイチ君お待たせ。待ったかな？
馬に蹴られる前に退散するかな。
Lovebirds, what the fuck?
驚かせてすまなかったね、ケイイチ君。
Tomitake-san chortled suggestively, then disappeared into the twilight. Missing my chance to retort put me off a bit. Ha! He couldn't respond to the eloper's thing. Ha!
ケイチ君怒ってる？どうしてだろう？
It wasn't Rena's fault, so I decided to just brush it off for now.
どうだった？掘り出し物は見つかったか？
聞いて。あのね。あったの。ケンタ君人形。
Sanders! Hey, Kentucky Fried Chicken! FC! Finger looking good!
ケンタ君人形？お手あれか？ケンタ君フライドチキンの店の前に必ず置いてあるあの等身大人形の？
Colonel Sanders! Yeah! I've never had KFC. Probably never will. Unless I go to Japan. Yeah, I'd probably consider going to KFC if I went to Japan. After all, and it'd probably actually be good there. Unlike what I've heard in the US.
ケンタ君。はあ、かわいい。
Cute. What the fuck? I couldn't tell how she decides what's cute or not. But, well, she seems to want it.
あれはゴミだろ。お持ち帰りしたきゃしてもいいんだぜ。
I mean,
他の山の下敷きになってるの。簡単には掘り出せないし。あそこ、明かりがないからすぐ暗くなっちゃうし。
Ah, Rena seemed quite down about finding a treasure and not being able to bring it back.
俺も手伝ってやるよ。今日のうまかった弁当の恩返しってことでさ。
ありがとう。
Birds heading home to roost proclaimed that nightfall would soon be upon us.
ケイチ君が手伝ってくれる。ケイタ君はお持ち帰りできる。はあ。
Rena staggered along as if intoxicated in her dreamy state of mind. I tried asking her in a way that wouldn't take her out of her curious state.
なあレナ、あそこで昔なんかあったのか？
ダムの工事をやってたんだってね。詳しく知らないけど。
例えばさ、工事中になんかあったとか、事故とか。
知らない。
And out of her state she goes. Her tone was disturbingly frank. You don't say. That was a drastic change. Holy. It sounded more like a denial than an answer. I must have appeared rather dumbstruck. Rena quickly lightened her expression.
実はね、去年までよそに住んでたの。
え、レナも転校生だったのか？俺はてっきり。
だからね、それ以前のことはよく知らないの。ごめんね。
Don't really know. Don't want to talk about it. That was the kind of feeling she gave me. Thinking about it, of course it would be like that. This wasn't the type of thing girls would enjoy talking about. It was quite a disturbing incident. They still haven't found one of the arms. If it's just like Tomitake-san said, then I had a feeling only the Higurashi would know. Well, it's day 2. Should I go for a third day? Maibara Manor.
ケイちゃんってさ、すごいお金持ちってわけでもないの？
なんだよ突然。
I think I'll stick with the console backgrounds for now on. It definitely fits better. Even though the original backgrounds would be better overall for obvious reasons, for vibes, but whatever.
月の小遣いはいくらもらってる
？1000円。
あら、結構小市民的ですのね。お弁当のおかずも普通ですよ。お金持ちじゃないです。
What are they talking about? We asked out of nowhere how much I get and then told her that it's a plebeian amount.
ごめんね、ごめんね。
Rena seemed to pick up on my dubious expression and started giggling.
ケイちゃんちってさ、すっごく大きいでしょ？だから建築中からひなみ沢中で前原屋敷って呼ばれて注目の的だったんだよ。
My bar manor.
あんなに大きいお家だからどんなお金持ちなのかなってみんなで噂し合ってたの。
I see. Now I get it. Well, the frame of it is huge. I see how it could cause some misunderstandings.
私の推理ではお家を建てるのにお金をかけすぎて貧乏になってしまったと考えてますのよ。
Sotoko?
貧乏でかわいそうかわいそうです。
Rika-chan took pity on me as she patted my head. I go from being treated like a millionaire to a beggar.
諸君らの楽しい想像をぶち壊すようで悪いが、うちは金持ちでも貧乏でもないぞ。極めて平均的な。
あれだけ大きな家は普通とは言わないって。しかも玄関は立派で、門は大型車も入れるようになってるし。
They have a gate? Wait, alright. Japan.
絶対普通じゃないって。
Well, they do say the bigger your house, the more prosperous you are. Actually, no, that is pretty big. By my standards, even. The reason the house is so big is because Dad's studio is in it, too. There are a bunch of different workshops, and lots of his works are hung up in different places. All of them are huge, too. For those reasons, the family actually uses only a third of the house for day-to-day living. Planned it out so people in cars could come in to see the gallery he opens up in the house someday. By the way, the entranceway Mion is talking about is the one for the studio, and is normally sealed off. The entranceway that Maebara family actually uses is a very plain and simple one. The interior is much different from how it looks on the outside.
ぜひ今度ケイちゃんの家を探検してみたいよな。お金持ちじゃないと主張しながらもあの邸宅。一体何が隠されているのか。
かいいものが隠されてるといいな。きっと家具を買うお金もなくなってて殺風景な部屋がいっぱいなのですわ。絨毯のお部屋ならぜひゴロゴロしてみたいですよ。はあ、それいいね、それいいね。レナもゴロゴロしたい。
Seems like their imaginations were just piling on. Well, sometime in the near future, it wouldn't be too bad to invite them all to my house. Dad is a sucker for the ladies, so he might even let them look around his studio. The cry of the Higurashi crescendoed as the sky towered over everything. It was hot, but the air was clear. It smelled like the beginning of summer. The damn sight, murder, such dismemberment. Newspaper edition. From the June 1979 edition. The Shishibone City Okinomiya Police Station, June late at night. Suspects blah 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 were arrested on suspicion of murder and improper disposal of a corpse. The main offender, blah, has been added to wanted lists nationwide. According to our sources, the 6 suspects were at the Hinamizawa Dam construction site workroom on the blah at 9 p.m. They are suspected to have assaulted and murdered the site overseer blah as a group, dismembering his body and hiding it. On the blah at 8 o'clock in the morning, a report was filed by the Shishibune City Hospital in which a male suspect alluded to having murdered Mr. Blah. When questioned at the police station, the individual confessed to the crime. Since a portion of the body was recovered at the location he gave, he was arrested that afternoon on suspicion of murder and mutilation of a corpse. The rest of the suspects were arrested the same day, but the main culprit is still at large. Police are currently on his trail. The motive is purported to be a drunken verbal dispute during which he killed the victim in a fit of anger. However, as there are multiple inconsistencies with their testimonies, the investigation is ongoing.
ケンタ君人形？そりゃあレナのツボだわな。
レナがサトコやリカちゃんをお持ち帰りしたくなるのはわかる。だがケンタ君人形だけは理解できないぞ。あんなメガネ親父のどこがいいんだ。
Do I want to continue today? I mean, save it again. Save it again. I think this is a good place too. I think this is a good place to end it then. Got through 2 days. And yeah. I've at least begun. So, yeah, I shall see y'all next time then. Goodbye.